I think if we're not aware of ourselves in this way, then we're going to hook on to all kinds of unrealistic expectations, all kinds of everything else that has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? And so one of my biggest struggles I had as a person was I was the biggest people pleaser you could ever meet in your entire life. I bent over backwards for everybody. I was constantly trying to find approval. I was constantly trying to, what's the word? I would compromise my authenticity and being genuine with somebody over connection. I always wanted connection no matter what it was. I wore my heart on my sleeve. And, so I was always trying to, please people. And I just remember one day I was like, after carrying that burden for God knows how long, my whole life, I said, Lord, why do I care so much about what people think about me? And I mean, I was pouring my heart out. And you know when God's talking to you because you have a thought you never had, and then the burden comes off, you're like, whoa, what was that?
Exactly.
And it was because you've internalized man's judgments of you. And I was like, what?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah. But it gave me something to work with within myself, because for so long I had always, judged myself, or always, how can you say, governed myself based upon someone else's perception of me. So if people made judgments of me, if they said, this is the expectation in homeschooling, if I valued that person's opinion, I would conform and do everything they told me to do because, that's how I got my worth. Like, oh, you tell me I'm doing it right. Okay, cool. And so anyway, I just remember, really struggling with that, realizing I was internalizing man's judgments. And then, just was like, Lord, how do I get free from that? And that's when he started just showing me how I was doing that. Somebody would make a judgment of me, a conclusion, and then I would go ahead and prove it. Like, oh, you think that? Well, here, let me switch my behavior around and get you to think differently of me. So I was really good at being chameleon in that way, no security. And so that people pleasing thing just really got me. And I was just at the mercy of, anything and everything. And so I was always living to these expectations in every area of my life, not just in homeschooling, because usually a pattern will not be set just in one area, but in every area of your life.
Right.
And so,
And you said too, you started noticing it. I love that when God reveals something to us, we start
yes,
seeing those things in our life. And I remember mentoring somebody, and she's like, Peggy, I'm seeing it all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not that it's there anymore. It's just that you're seeing it now.
yes,
and
yes,
so be thankful that your eyes are not shielded any longer to
amen,
that lie. So it
absolutely.
gives us that opportunity, instead of beating ourselves up when we see it, to say, okay, what am I going to do about it now in truth?